Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Jeffrey Lazarus, and you are watching Welcome to Storm on the Gaming Vector. Storm is a physics-based puzzle platformer of sorts, developed by IndiePub and published by Namco Bandai Entertainment. This is a $10 Xbox Live downloadable arcade title, so let's go ahead and jump directly into it. It'll be a lot easier to show this off than to actually explain it. Now, first off, let's jump into help and options. Obviously, you have your how to play and your control settings. I will leave this up on the screen for a moment so you can take a look at these yourself if you so desire. I'll be going over what controls that I know of so far, but there are several listed here that I actually haven't had cause to use yet this early in the game. Now, the next thing we want to look at is our settings menu, and as you can see, you have different volume sliders for sound effects and music, but you do also have interface position, which is nice so you can keep an eye on your interface. Now, speaking of the interface, if you look up at the top of the screen, you will see three different icons. Those are rain, wind, and lightning. Now, as we play the game, you will see the various pips below them. Right now there are 4. That's how many uses of that particular element you will have, and you can gain more by grabbing icons for that element throughout the level. Now, this may not make a lot of sense right at the moment, but let's go ahead and select a file. As you see, I played about 24 minutes and about 9% complete, so that should give you an idea of the overall playtime of the game. And let's go ahead and jump into continue the adventure, and we will take a look at the next level I had coming up. Now, as you can see, this is spring, day 9. The game goes through seasons. So here we have our little marker that we are controlling. You can see it circling around the screen. These icons that I'm circling over right now are lightning icons. If I manage to push the seed from this tree through those icons, then I will gain the ability to use lightning. We can also take a look at the rest of the level. Now, what you'll also notice is right down here there is a wind icon. Right here is what is known as fertile ground, as is over here. These are the two positions we need to get the seed to from the tree. Also, there is another rain icon down here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is double tap the X button, and that will create a current of water that will push the seed down, and it actually almost made it over to the next ledge. So let's go ahead and push it along again. There you can see it's actually grabbing the lightning icons, so what we can do is use lightning to make the seed jump. Now, of course, these are all equivalent to the buttons at the top of the screen, and as you see there, our seed got destroyed. It hit this patch of, looks like some kind of poisonous vines. So, what we'll actually need to do is try and jump our seed over those vines. And I pushed the button a tad bit too early. So as you can see, it's a physics-based puzzle platformer of sorts. You don't directly control the item doing the platforming. And there we have made it to the first piece of fertile ground. Instead, you simply control the elements that affect the item that's doing the platforming. In this case, the seed. So there we have actually gotten a wind power. Now, what we can do here is we can actually hold down the B button and destroy the seed to push it back to where we need it. What we can also do, if you see these rocks look like they're crumbling, we can actually use our lightning on those to plug the hole. Now, I don't know what good that's actually going to do us in this particular case, but it is something that you can do. Now, the question is, what will that actually help us do? It doesn't look like much of anything. However, perhaps I can still complete this puzzle. Not very good at puzzle games. Not usually. Let's go ahead and wait for both of these lightnings to charge up and then blast these rocks with them. That is not really helping out much. What if we... Nope. The rocks actually keep that log from floating up. So I don't know if actually hitting that with lightning was the best of ideas. There we go. We managed to actually break the log with the lightning. That is another thing you can do. And now what we may be able to do is actually get the seed to float. Perhaps. But I'm just trying to give you a general overview of what this game actually entails. And it's a pretty cool idea, to be honest. This is rather interesting. And there we are, causing more harm than good, as usual. But as you can see, that's a general idea of how things work in this game. Now, there has to be a way to complete this level from here. So what I'm actually going to do is try again. And we will actually start this level over and take another look at it, now that we know more or less what we need to do. So as soon as we hit this water icon there... Oh, too late with the lightning. Alright, so let's wait for all three of those pips to refill and mash on the X button to send the seed across. There we are, and now we have made the jump and created our second tree. So now the question is... if I just simply break the log and ignore these rocks, then let's go ahead and destroy the seed, and we will pop the water 3 times to see if that gives us... Oh, Now here's an idea. And now we're in very much the same spot we were just a moment ago. It would appear as if there are bats in there. I wonder if those are just part of the scenery or something that I would actually have to interact with. Very strange. Let's try sending a gust of wind through here and see if that does anything to the bats. Yeah, that actually gets rid of them, so maybe they are some sort of threat. It's really hard to say. And we have gotten ourselves into the same predicament we were in earlier. Now, if I were to say... well, that didn't work at all. Because the water has nowhere to go now that the rocks are there. Yep, and right back to the same problem we had earlier. But as you can see, this is a very interesting game and very interesting play style. Now, as I said earlier, I don't actually know the length of the game, but as you can see, I'm actually kind of stuck right here, so I may back this up and give it one more try. I don't know the actual length of the game, but from what I can tell, if we're at about 30 minutes and we're about 10% complete, then you're looking at probably a 3-hour experience. Granted, that was also very early on, so possibly something more like 4 hours or 5, depending on your acumen with these type of puzzles, obviously. But for a $10 downloadable game, I would actually highly recommend this. It is a pretty substantial amount of fun, and it's an interesting game to boot, which is always nice to see. So I'm just going to take one more stab at finishing this puzzle. Maybe I don't... don't actually need the rocks. And I'm going to guess that I don't. So let's see what happens if I flood this while it's on the log. Well, that's... Oh, maybe I can use the lightning to... Nope. Also, I never got rid of the bats either. So let's go ahead and blow those out of there. Now... let's just reset this and take one more stab at it. And I know somebody is probably sitting there right now yelling at me for doing something wrong. And for the life of me, I don't know what it is. But as you can see, rather interesting little arcade game. I say it's $10. It's probably, if you're really good at puzzles, I would guess it's probably going to be about 2 to 3 hours. If you're bad at puzzles, it will probably take longer than that. Also, it looks as though it has multiple gameplay modes. So all of the different modes could be rather interesting. And for a $10 downloadable title, I would highly, highly recommend this. And while I may not be any good at it, and while it may be painfully obvious to someone out there exactly what I need to be doing to pull this off, it doesn't look like I'm actually going to be finishing this particular level for you guys, which is okay, because I would actually hate to spoil the puzzle. So, with that having been said, final verdict, I would very much recommend this game. I think it seems like it's probably a lot of fun from what I have played of it. Now, granted, as I said, I'm not very good at puzzle games. But it's an interesting concept and an interesting idea, and I've enjoyed what I've played of it so far, so that is the best recommendation I can give with these videos. As always, I have been your host, Jeffrey Lazarus, and thank you for watching The Gaming Vector.